Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So let me start with the chapter number 1, resources and development. And today I'm going to teach you the topic land resources. Okay. So today I'm going to start with land resources, the different purpose for which the land is being utilized in our country, as well as the various causes responsible for land degradation and how to conserve land resources that we'll be discussing. So in our previous classes, we have discussed about the resources. What does the term resource mean? The classification of the resources, resource planning, and why resource planning is necessary for a country like India. Okay. So I am proceeding to discuss about the topic land resources. Land resources. We live on land, we perform our economic activities on the land, and we use it in different ways. Thus, land is a natural resource of utmost importance. So as we human beings, we are living on the earth, okay, and for all the needs actually, okay, for every needs, okay, we are dependent directly and indirectly on this land resources, okay. For example, the food which we eat actually, it comes from the land, okay. The houses we construct it on the land. The transportation facilities, it develops on the land. Even we like the mineral resources and all which we get, it comes from the land actually. Okay. So the land resource is a natural resource of very much utmost importance actually. Okay. The land resources, it supports the natural vegetation, that is the forest. It supports the wildlife, the human beings, different types of economic activities, transport and communication systems, and etc. However, the land resources which we are utilizing actually, it is an asset of a finite magnitude. That is, the land resources is limited in supply. Okay. Whereas it is important to use the available land. Okay. Therefore, it is important to use the available land for various purposes with careful planning. Okay. So whatever land resources exist in a particular country or for a particular group of people, they must use those land resources or the available land resources in a proper way, okay, with careful planning, and so that from that limited land resources, okay, they can live their livelihood, they can get all those materials which are essential for living a normal life. So here we are discussing about land resources in the context of India. So we are going to discuss about land resources of India, and this land resources of India, okay, is used for different purpose. So we'll be discussing about what are the different purpose for this land is used actually. So as we all know that India is the 7th largest country in the world. Okay, India is the 7th largest country in the world, and it occupies a total area of 3.28 million square kilometer. The total area is 3.28 million square kilometer. Okay, and this 3.28 million square kilometer is equivalent to 2.4% of the total geographical area of our country. So this 3.28 million square kilometer land is finite actually. We cannot stretch it and make it 4 million or 3.5 million, or neither it can be reduced to 2 million or 2.5 million. That means this land resource of our country is fixed to 3.28 million square kilometer. And this 3.28 million square kilometer land must be utilized in a more planned way actually, so that from this land resources only we can get all those materials which we need. Okay, and also on the other hand, we must take care that the land resources it does not get degraded or it does not get depleted. Okay. So here you can see that India has land under a variety of relief features, namely the mountains, the plateaus, the plains, and the islands. Okay, so our country, India, which is the 7th largest country in the world, okay, here in our country, this 3.28 million square kilometer land resources which we have is divided, okay, like it is distributed in the form of mountains, in the form of the plateaus, in the form of the plains, the islands, the coastal plains, the deserts, and all. Okay, but three major, most of the land resources of our country can be found, okay, in the form of the mountains, in the form of the plateaus, as well as in the form of the plains. So here you see that 43% of the total land area of our country is plain area. That means it is the part of the northern plain. And this plain area, it provides facilities for agriculture and the industry. Okay. The 43% of the land resources of our country is the plain area, which is a part of the northern plains and all. And these plain areas, okay, we are dependent on these plain areas for agriculture and industry. That means most of the agricultural production and the industries has developed on these plain areas. The mountains, they account for 30% of the total surface area of the country, and they ensure perennial flow of some rivers, provides facilities for tourism and the ecological aspects. Whereas the mountains, they occupy 30% of the total surface area of our country. And these mountains are the source of some of the major rivers actually. Most of the rivers of our country, they has its origin in these mountains, like the Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra. Not only Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, but also many other rivers are there, like the Kosi, the Gandak, okay, the Tista, Yamuna and all. Many other rivers are also there, which originates in this Himalayan mountain region. This mountain region is also like famous for tourism facilities, and it is also important as according to its ecological importance actually. Okay, and about 27% of the area of the country is the plateau region, and 27% of the total area of our country comes under the plateau region. And this plateau region is the storehouse of the minerals actually. Here in this plateau region, we can find different types of minerals, the fossil fuels, as well as the forest resources actually. So here you can see that the total 3.28 million square kilometer of our country, okay, is distributed in the form of the mountains, in the form of the plateaus, in the form of the plains and all. Okay, and these all, that is the mountains, the plateaus and the plains, they are very much vital for us because the people living in this region, okay, living in the mountains, the plateaus and the plains and all, they are directly and indirectly dependent on this physiological divisions, okay, for their livelihood, for their food, and for everything. Okay, so it is very much essential to discuss in details that this area, the total area of our country is used for what different purposes actually. Okay, so we'll be discussing in details like the different purpose for which the land is utilized in our country. So here you can see that the, as I say, that the land resources of our country must be utilized properly, and we are utilizing the land for different purpose actually. Okay, so first here you can see that the land resources are used for forest actually. Okay, that means a larger part of our country's total land resources is under the forest cover. Okay, so land resources are used for the following purposes. That is the forest. Okay, the forest. Like in our country, we have a huge percentage of area under the forest cover. Around 24% of the total geographical area of our country, it comes under the forest area actually. Okay, so basically in the mountain areas and all, we have a large area under the forest cover. And even in the Peninsular Plateau region also, a large area is under the forest cover. Okay, so basically most of the Himalayan states and the states of this Peninsular Plateau region, basically Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and all, okay, some parts of West Bengal and all. So these are the states actually where we can find a larger percentage of the forest cover. So the most of the land resources, not most actually, around 24% of the land resources of our country is under the forest cover. And this forest, they provide us with various kinds of forest products, various kinds of medicinal herbs. The forests are also the houses for different wild animals, for different species of wild animals and organisms. Okay, in this forest only, we can find different species of plants, okay, which are like which can be found only in our country, and like which has a very huge importance, okay, in our country actually. The next is the land not available for cultivation. That means there are also like few percentage of land resources which is not suitable for agricultural purpose actually. Okay, for example, the rocky areas, okay, the you can say the rocky areas, the polluted areas and also, okay, means which cannot be used for agriculture actually. Okay, so it comes under the category of the barren and the wasteland. The barren and the wasteland basically include the rocky areas of the mountain regions, okay, the, you can say the polluted areas, okay, or the areas which are degraded and all, okay, they comes under this barren and the wasteland category. And here the land cannot be utilized for agriculture actually. Okay, the land here cannot be utilized for agriculture actually, because agriculture is not possible in this part of the in this types of land actually. And even there are also other parcels of land which is used like for housing, that is for construction of the houses, for construction of the roads, for construction of the factories, that is the industries, and also for different other purpose actually. So those land is also comes under the land not available for agriculture. Okay. So here you can see that land not available for cultivation basically include the barren and the wasteland, and the land which is being used for housing, for construction, for roads, factories, and for different other purposes. Number three, other uncultivated land, excluding the fallow land. Okay, so other uncultivated land also exist actually. So permanent pastures and the grazing land. Permanent pasture and the grazing land basically include those parcel of land which has been kept or which is mainly used for growing of the pastures. So, okay, means where the grasses, means the lands are left behind so that the grasses can grow and the animals, they can feed on it actually. Okay. So basically there are like basically in the Himalayan region and all, and in some of the plain areas also, you will find that the farmers, they use some parcels of land which is mainly used for growing the food fodder for the animals and all. Okay, with the animals mainly feed actually. So those land does not come under the category of cultivated land actually. Okay, so the permanent pastures and the grazing land are the other uncultivated land. Even land under miscellaneous tree groves are also there. Land under miscellaneous tree groves basically include those parcel of land where tree covers are there, means where the human beings has planted the trees, that is the orchards and all. Okay, the plantation crops are there. Okay, but we does not consider it in the as a forest, and we does not consider it as a agricultural land also. Okay, so those land comes under this under other than other uncultivated land actually. And the next one is the culturable wasteland. Culturable wasteland basically include those part of the agricultural land. Okay, means those agricultural land which are not cultivated for more than 5 years. Means there are many areas in our country where, like before agriculture was predominant, means the farmers, they were engaged in doing agricultural. Okay, they used to use the land for doing cultivation or agriculture and all. But for the last 5 years or for more than 5 years, the farmers are not doing any kind of agricultural practice on those parcel of land actually. Okay, so those lands are considered as the culturable wasteland. So basically, such kind of culturable wasteland can be found near the urban areas and all. Okay, in the suburban areas, because in the suburban areas, okay, the farmers, okay, like they are engaged in some other cult activities and all. Okay, they are not engaged in agriculture and all. And what they do is they leave their agricultural land without any purpose actually. They are not doing agriculture on the agricultural land. Okay, and they are left for more than 5 years actually. Okay, so those lands are classified as the culturable wasteland. Okay, you can see that in and around Siliguri also, there are many areas actually where suburbanization is taking place. Means the agricultural lands are now getting converted into urban areas and all. Okay, so you will find many such plots of land where agriculture was carried out before actually, but for the last 5 years or for more than 5 years, agriculture is not being done actually. Okay, so those are the culturable wasteland. See, apart from the forest, apart from the land not available for cultivation, as well as apart from other uncultivated land, we also have the fallow land. Okay, the fallow lands are also there. These fallow lands are actually those land which are not utilized for agriculture, but for less than 5 years. Okay, in case of culturable wasteland, the land is not utilized for agriculture for more than 5 years. But in case of fallow land, it is not used for agriculture for less than 5 years. Okay, but here this fallow land is classified into two categories. One is the current fallow, and another one is the other than the current fallow. Okay. Current fallow and other than the current fallow, these are the two types of fallow land. Okay, here you can see that the current fallow. What is current fallow? Current fallow basically include those parcels of agricultural land which is left uncultivated. Okay, which is left uncultivated for one or less than one agricultural year. That means cultivation has not been done in a parcel of agricultural land for less than 1 year or 1 year actually. That is known as the current fallow. Other than the current fallow basically include those parcels of the agricultural land which is not utilized for agriculture for 1 year to 5 years. Okay, for more than 1 year, but less than 5 years. That is known as the current fallow. Okay, so here you can see that current fallow basically include the agricultural land which is left uncultivated for less than 1 year. And other than the current fallow basically include the agricultural land which is left uncultivated for 1 to 5 years. The next is the net sown area. In our country, so as I said that the forests are there, the barren lands are there, okay, other than the uncultivated lands are there, the fallow lands are there. That means agricultural lands are also there where agriculture is done, because fallow lands are those where agriculture is not done. Cultivable wasteland is there where agriculture is not done for more than 5 years. Other than the current, other than the agricultural purpose, also land are used for housing, that is construction of houses, railways, roads, etc., and the forest also. So apart from that also, there are huge plot of land which is used for agriculture in our country. Okay, so those area or those land which is used for agriculture, it comes under the net sown area. Okay, it comes under the net sown area. So net sown area basically include the total land area which is used for agriculture. Okay, means where actual agriculture is being done. So this net sown area does not include actually the current fallow, the other current fallow, and the cultivable wasteland. Okay, means in our country at present, means the total area which is used for agriculture is known as the net sown area. Okay, means where actual cultivation is done. One more like type of land is here actually, that is the gross cropped area. So gross cropped area and net sown area is quite different actually. Okay, so just remember one thing, that net sown area basically include the all those agricultural land where agriculture is mainly done. Okay, it's gross cropped area. What is gross cropped area? Area sown more than once in an agricultural year plus the net sown area is known as the gross cropped area. Okay, so there are land which is used for agriculture. Okay, that is known as the net sown area. But in this net sown area only, there are few plots of land where agriculture is done twice or thrice in a year. Okay, where agriculture is done twice or thrice in a year. So those land where agriculture is done twice or thrice plus the net sown area, means net sown area we take into consideration, plus means a part of the net sown area where agriculture is done 2 times. So we will be adding that parcel of land 1 more time actually. Okay, so that will be known as the gross crop area. Means the net sown area plus the land which is used for agriculture 2 times actually. Okay, so 1 time we have already included under the net sown area, so 1 more time we will be adding it. Okay, so when we will combine it together actually, it will be known as the gross crop area. So gross crop area in simple terms basically include the net sown area and those agricultural land where agriculture is done more than once in an area actually. Okay, so this is what about the different use of land resources in our country. So in our country, the land is mainly used for the forest. The land is used for construction of houses, railway tracks, industries, etc. There are many barren and the wasteland where agriculture is not done. There are land which has been left uncultivated. Okay, means agricultural lands, but they are left uncultivated for more than 5 years, for 1 to 5 years, as well as for less than 1 year. And also a huge plot of land is there in our country where actual cultivation is being done.